Guys, what's going on? Michael here with another episode. In today's episode, we're talking about my AR-15 pistol. I'm going to tell you guys all about this build that I did this summer. I'm going to tell you the things I like about this gun. I'm going to tell you the things I don't like about this gun. I'm going to give you my reasons for building a cheaper budget build and all that good stuff. So let's jump into it. This thing is finally finished. That's why I'm doing the video on it. I finally got it done just a couple days ago. I put my last pieces on it. And so this gun is officially finished and it is a blast to shoot. It's a lot of fun. It's a little flamethrower. All right, so we're gonna do a cost breakdown here on this gun and try to get like a total at the end of the video of how much I have into this whole gun. So for starters, this upper that I purchased, you guys wanna do a safety check here? We're all good, the chamber's clear. So the upper portion of this gun with the barrel and the lower parts, the internal parts like the trigger and whatnot, the buffer tube, spring, grip, and this pistol brace that you see here was all purchased from PSA, which is Pomalo State Armory. And after doing a bunch of research on doing a budget build, I came to the conclusion that I was going to purchase from PSA because I felt like it's not the cheapest gun out there, but it is cheap. And, you know, compared to some of the other higher end AR platforms and that kind of build. So I wanted to go the cheaper route. Well, for one, to save money, like anybody does. But, you know, I'm not going to war. I'm not taking this to battle. I don't really plan on ever using it even for home defense. I mean, you could, so it's just a fun, I wanted to build one, right? So I'm not gonna break the bank trying to build one and then find out, you know, if I don't like it or whatever. So if you guys were doing a lot of training and competition shooting and that kind of thing, and you shot 10,000 rounds a year, then I could see possibly maybe building a higher end AR. But if you guys are just your average sport shooters, there's no reason to spend $2,000 on an AR unless you just want to show off to your friends or whatever. I mean, honestly, these guns are pretty much tried and true now. They shoot great. I probably have around 700 rounds to this weapon, and I've never once had an issue, never. And I'm using a couple different magazines. We'll touch on those in a minute. And so all around, it's just been a great AR. And so the cool thing about purchasing from PSA is you can buy one little spring if you want at a time. I opted to buy the kit. It's called the Battle Link kit. And when I purchased it, it was right at $500. They've recently have raised the price, but right now for Black Friday or whatever, it's on sale. So you can get that kit, I think, for $379 or $399. I'm not 100%. And they did have a few available the other day when I looked on their website. So this one came with the parts or something. I read somewhere that they were a little bit upgraded. It was above their basic kit as far as the trigger internals go and that kind of thing. So yeah, there you go, $500 for the upper part. And basically it's the whole gun except the lower receiver. Now, the beauty of that is you don't have to pay a transfer fee, and I think I got free shipping on it too. So the gun gets delivered right to your house. You know, the parts do, all the parts, you know, you get a bunch of bags and stuff or whatever. And you go from there, you can build it. So then you can go at that point and go down to your gun shop, your FFL, and buy the lower receiver, which, you know, requires the background check and yada yada. And you can buy this part. Now this is an Anderson lower, again, budget friendly. The Anderson lowers they retail for right around $50. So $550, you can have a complete gun minus the magazines, which we'll get into in a sec. And I think that's a killer deal for, in my opinion, a quality weapon for what you're paying for it. Like I said, I've never had any problems. And again, I took this gun hunting. I mounted some obnoxious scope on it, you know, and there was several times where I was just, you know, hunting in the pouring rain, and this thing got soaked, wet. Like I said, I've never had a hiccup with it. I just shot it the other week after going through all the hunting hell. So yeah, so basically there you go. This is the Battle Link. This is a 7.5-inch barrel. And I guess that would be one thing that I don't like about this gun. Having this barrel, you lose a lot of your muzzle velocity. And I think a lot of people know that or understand that. So something this short, you're losing almost a third of your velocity. So I think typically it's right around, you know, on a 20-inch barrel, It's around 3,200 feet per second, give or take, whatever, on a typical 55 grain full metal jacket cartridge. On this, I want to say for a 55 full metal jacket, it's going to be somewhere around 23, 22 feet, 100 feet per second at the muzzle. So it's drastically dropping because it just doesn't have that barrel length to push it out and burn all the powder out. That being said, this thing throws flames like no other gun I've shot. And I've got a couple pictures I'll show you guys right now, but insane. And this thing even has a flash suppressor on it. This is the A2 flash suppressor. And a lot of people, if you read on this flash suppressor, whatever you want to call it, a lot of people say this acts as a compensator too, because you can see the bird cage doesn't continue down here. So it's solid down here. So it's kind of helping with some of that recoil by emitting the gases up. But there's, as you can see in the pictures, there's quite a bit of stuff coming out there. So when I got this gun, I got it built. And of course, the first thing you're gonna need to do is buy magazines. So I do have a couple Magpul magazines. You guys can pick these up at your store, whatever. If you guys are in other states, you're not gonna be able to get the 30 rounders like these or the drums. I don't have a drum. I don't even know if I want one. So I picked up a couple PMags and then went back to Pomalo State Armory, and these are mil-spec aluminum, okay? And I bought 10 of these for $100, and it was like $10 for shipping, so $110, $11 a piece for aluminum mil-spec. And the followers in here, so they have dual followers. I don't know much about this, you guys, but basically there's like 2 rails that go down in here for the followers, so they won't rock back and forth. So it's quality. I've shot almost all my rounds to these aluminum ones, and I may have only shot the PMags a couple times. But the aluminum ones, again, you keep loaded. You don't have to worry about the lips or whatever cracking like on some of the PMags. I've read about that. So I don't even keep the PMags loaded. So yeah, the aluminum mil-spec magazines from PSA, awesome deal. I mean, they're more military, right, than a plastic one or whatever. So, and what's cool is you can go to like your Army surplus, okay, and they make these carriers, and these carriers are for these magazines to where you can hold 3 magazines. So each of these carriers will hold 90 rounds in these. So these are pretty cool. I got a couple of these. You can strap them to your belt or whatever. So it's just nostalgic stuff or whatever. So yeah, I got the magazines and went from there. And then the first 2 things I did to this was I put the red dot on it, and then I put the flashlight on here. And on the flashlight, it has the light that goes out, and then it has the laser in the middle, and of course that's all adjustable. What I really like about this light is right here you have a button that you can hit, and then you have a momentary pad, so you can just hold the pad down and then let go. And it's got the flasher. If you hit it a couple times, it flashes or whatnot, and that kind of thing. So and it has a rechargeable battery here you take off. The bummer about this is, and I read some reviews on this light you have to take off in order to charge. You have to take both of these off actually, because you don't want to twist this wire when you unscrew the back here. So just be aware of that if you guys get this light. All the links for this stuff will be in the description, except this lanyard and of course the gun itself. But yeah, PSA, you guys can go over there and check it out. So I think the light was, I want to say $40. I'm guessing somewhere in there. So yeah, the light, and then this little red dot was cheap. I think it was only $30. So cheap red dot. It works. Like I said, I've got all these rounds through it. I've got it zeroed in, and I can hit through the red dot at 100 yards. I was hitting in a decent group. Okay, it is what it is, right? It's $30, whatever. Again, I'm not going to war with this gun. I'm not going to battle. If it fails next year when I'm shooting, I'll just tear it off and go buy another one, or maybe experiment with something different. It's not the end of the world. So I know there's red dots out there that are $600-700. There's magnifiers out there that are $400 or $500, if not more. I don't know. This magnifier is awesome. So I got to say, this was probably one of my favorite upgrades that I did to the gun. So I bought the scope and the magnifier at the same time because I wasn't sure when I was going hunting if I would use the magnifier or the scopes. I mounted the scope and got that sighted in. I was like, I just used the scope for the rest of the hunting season. I didn't get anything, by the way, but whatever. But when hunting season ended, I was like, okay, I'm gonna put my red dot back on and try this magnifier out. And my wife and I went out a couple of weekends ago and we shot this with the magnifier. It was so much fun. The magnifier is so cool because if you're getting a little bit out there in distance, we were hitting a steel plate at like 60-ish, 70 yards and just bang, 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 tapping it all the time, looking through the magnifier and the red dot. It was a lot of fun. So This magnifier, I want to say, was right around $50, somewhere in that ballpark, give or take a little bit, So yeah, next thing we'll go on to is my latest upgrade, and that would be the sights. So I have flip up 45-degree sights here. So if you're in a battle situation and your cheap optics fail, we got cheap iron sights now that we can use as backup, and these are pretty cool. This stuff is barely fitting in here. This gun is so full of accessories, but I love it. It's so cool. You know, but yeah, it barely clears right here, the ramp in this, and then up here, it's barely clearing the switch here and the flashlight here. But yeah, these sights are pretty sweet. They're all a metal, aluminum, whatever, and then you have two different holes here on the end. I don't know if you guys can see that. You can go to a smaller hole for more accurate shooting, and again, this is adjustable for the windage, and then your elevation is adjustable here up in the front, and it's got some orange. I don't know if you guys can see, but it's got an orange tip up there or whatever. So, and yeah, pretty cool. I like how they just flip up, and you could be holding the gun and just hit them, you know, and then you just lean the gun to a 45, and they seem like they'll be pretty cool. So I haven't shot the gun yet, so I don't know how they're sighted. I did kind of sighted off my laser on the front here, and it looked pretty close. Kind of eyeballing it through the red dot here, and it looked pretty close. So next time we go out to the range, we'll get these sighted in, and I'll probably have to re-sight my red dot in because I had to push this red dot forward a little bit to make room back here for this. So yeah, and if you guys are wondering, this is an adjustable pistol grip, and it has like 4 different adjustments here. It's collapsed all the way in, just to show you guys how short it would be. So yeah, so the other accessory right here we have on the bottom, this is a Magpul foregrip, and this is compliant with the ATF and everything. So if you guys buy one of these, you cannot put a regular stock on here, or vertical foregrip, because that would make it a short-barreled rifle. FedEx is here. Because that would make it a short-barreled rifle in the eyes of some of the government officials, and then you would be illegal, or you have to register it and get you have to pay the government $200 to put a vertical foregrip on here, and that's pretty much what it amounts to. It's a bunch of baloney. If you guys ever want to get a good laugh, dig into the rules and ATF laws or whatever on short-barreled rifles versus pistols. It's absolutely hilarious. So yeah, this is a pistol, not a rifle. Chambered in 5.56. So anyways, that's how we keep it legal. We got this works good. I put my hand in here, and I have my fingers right here for my controls, whatever I want. Turn the light on, turn it off, whatever, and then that's it. So a lot of times when I shoot it, I'll back this out, you know, and then just use this as a shoulder brace right here. But again, this is not a shoulder brace, it's a pistol brace. So I don't know, there you go. All right, so I think that covers all the accessories that you see here, besides my Cletus McFarland sticker that I just put on here. So yeah, so you guys might be wondering about the paint. Oh wait, the strap. So the strap I can't really link to, but the strap I picked up at the box store, it's a TAC 6, okay? Again, this is very budget friendly. This is $20 strap, and 2 cool things about this strap is that it's got a little bit of elasticity to it. So if you were running or something or got hung up, you were in the woods or something. The other cool thing about this is it's a single, so you can just drape it over your shoulder and hold it on your side, or it goes to double, and if you guys want to do that. And then when I was hunting, I wore it like this, because you could take and use the strap and wrap it around your hand, and so you were more stable by using the strap wrapped around your neck and then your hand or whatever. So you guys know what I'm talking about. So strap is cool. It was like 20 bucks, and I don't really have any complaints about it. I like it, and it gets the job done. So full complete AR setup with your iron sights, your magnifier, your red dot, your tactical light, whatever you want to call it. You got your front grip, your strap, everything. So it's ready to go, all on a budget, and pretty proud of it. All right, so the paint, we'll talk about the paint right now. I'm sure some of you guys are wondering about that. And you can see this magazine here, it's kind of like half done, right? So I painted these, painted this all myself, and it's pretty fun. I was kind of hesitant about it, and I was wishy-washy. I went back and forth with it for a couple of weeks in my head. And what pushed me over the edge is I went to a gun shop and I was talking with this guy, and we were looking at pistols or whatever. And then I started talking to him about stocks and painting the weapon. And he pulled out his AR that he painted. And I was just like, wow, that looks really good. And so I went, picked up some Rust-Oleum paint. They make, it's flat Rust-Oleum, and it's like army colors or whatever. So they have like 3 or 4 different colors you can choose from. I chose 3, so there's actually 3 colors on here. I know it kind of looks like 2, but there's actually 3. And yeah, I just watched a couple of YouTube videos on how to do it, and there's several different ways to do it, and people say this and that, but I use natural grass and ferns. So you can see like some fern and some grass here. And when I put the base coat on, then I would go back and then just like lay some grass on there and spray it and do whatever. And kind of the same thing with the magazines, you know, they got some grass and ferns in them or whatnot. You can kind of see. And I painted the red dot and everything. I just put some tape over the glass, put some tape over the lens here of the flashlight. And I didn't have these accessories when I painted it, obviously, but I might paint these iron sights. I don't know yet. And one of the cool things, like maybe it might not be cool to you, but for me it is, because it looks cool. Like if you're looking at this gun, like I said, this is like my fun gun. It's just a cool gun to have. See the scratches, like a lot of this was from hunting, wearing it, you know, and walking through the woods. And then you can see on the handle, maybe, let's see if I get like this, you can see the handle's kind of worn. And then, well, there was a big worn spot here, like where your earmuffs would hit right here when you're shooting it. And then some more wear on the foregrip here. But like when you look at the weapons, I've been doing a lot of research lately on the Mark 18 and the M4, and you can see like some of these weapons that military was using, and they paint them and then they get scratched, and it kind of gives it that, you know, that same look or whatever. So if you guys are worried about it scratching a little bit, then it might not be for you. But if you don't mind some wear and tear and some scratches here and there, and like I said, I've marched around the woods for you know, several hours with this thing, and it's been through the ringer, the wet and everything, and just kind of thrown around and whatnot. So, but yeah, it looks really cool. Looks really cool. So yeah, I'm pretty proud of this build. It's my first AR build, and I have 2 more on the way that I'm doing. I mentioned in another video that I already have. I have my lowers purchased, but I'm gonna build a replica M16 A2, and then right after that I want to do a Mark 18, and that would be a short barreled rifle if I do it correctly, and which would require the tax stamp. So I'll definitely be documenting those builds and whatnot. Yeah, so I haven't done the total yet. Maybe I'll do a little total down below for you guys right now and see what the total cost of this is. But like I said, for having a weapon like this, and you know, all these magazines and whatnot, and then all these accessories, it's a really cool, you know, tactical type of weapon, and it doesn't break the bank. I mean, you could build something like this and go balls to the walls and spend like $3 grand, you know. I mean, it's really cool. It's fun to shoot. There's hardly any recoil. And then the flame that comes out of it is awesome. The percussion's a little too much sometimes, especially if you mag dump. You're just going to get a face full of gunpowder, and it's kind of overwhelming. The percussion coming out of the front of this weapon, it's crazy. So but yeah, it's fun and fun to shoot. So I guess that wraps it up. If you guys have any questions or comments, you guys can put them down below. I'll put some links in the description to some of these Amazon products if you guys are interested in using them. And again, you guys, it's not, you know, I'm sure you can get comments or whatever, and people are gonna be like, oh, that's trash, it's junk, it's not gonna last long, it's gonna fly off, blah, 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 blah. And you know, I just watched a video, I think it was Demolition Ranch, where they took one of these cheap magnifiers or whatever, and they're trying to play baseball with it or whatever. So again, like, I'm not going to battle, and I don't think if you're building a budget AR build, you're not going to battle either. And so when you look at a lot of those higher end guns like Daniel Defense, I mean, those guys were actually building weapons for the military. So they have a standard, and of course, I'm hoping that the weapons they give our military is better than you know, budget builds that we do here, you know, as civilians or whatever. So that's kind of what it's about, you know. It's, we can play around and go to the range and play with these things or whatever and have fun. And you don't need to break the bank to do it. So even just buying the kit, you know, you can get them on sale sometimes. Like I said, you can get them for cheaper. You can get a full AR build from PSA for under $500, no joke, and put a $30 red dot on it and call it a day. There you go, AR-15 pistol, camoed out. It's officially done. No more to do. So I'm kind of sad because I don't have any more to do to this gun. So, but yeah, on to the next builds. So till next time, folks.